After the top 10 champions are teleported to the 12th floor, Kim arrives inside the Ajum Empire's palace, a place that looks peaceful but is filled with political tension. The other champions appear one by one, including leaders of the major guilds, and reactions toward Kim are mixed. Some expected him to rank first again, while others clearly did not. The Inquisitor immediately approaches Kim and praises his performance on the 11th floor, especially how he used NPCs, rewards, and planning instead of brute force. He also notices Kim's holy sword and correctly guesses that it played a key role in controlling the battlefield. While the atmosphere seems calm, the Sword Emperor suddenly warns Kim that danger is coming. Before Kim can react, the Sword Saint suddenly attacks, aiming directly at Kim with clear intent to end him. In an instant, the Inquisitor pulls Kim out of the way and blocks the strike, placing himself between Kim and the Sword Saint. The Sword Saint coldly declares that he intends to eliminate Kim no matter what, because from his perspective, Kim is an abnormal existence connected to countless deaths and stolen abilities. The Inquisitor tries to negotiate, asking for a reason, but the Sword Saint refuses to explain. The situation escalates, as the Viper and the Paladin arrive and surround the Sword Saint, yet even against multiple high rankers, the Sword Saint easily injures them, showing overwhelming strength. Realizing direct combat is dangerous, the Inquisitor requests support from the Countess, who provides a large amount of gold that he converts into divine reinforcement, temporarily empowering the Viper and the Paladin. At the same time, the Black Witch steps forward and announces that Kim Gongja is officially affiliated with all 5 major guilds, and that attacking Kim means opposing every major power in the tower at once. Magical mirrors appear around her, symbolizing the alliance of the Black Dragon Guild, the Merchant Association, the Pantheon, the Battle-Oriented Guild, and the Watchman League. For the first time, the Sword Saint hesitates, realizing that even he cannot fight all of them together. Kim then steps forward himself and calmly asks for a chance to talk, revealing that this was his plan from the beginning. He knew he could not defeat the Sword Saint alone yet, so instead of becoming a lone powerhouse, he built a position where others would stand with him. While the Sword Saint walks alone at the top, Kim chose to build an army around himself, and that difference is what allows him to survive this confrontation. Kim calmly asks why the Sword Saint is trying to kill him, because from Kim's point of view, this is their first real meeting. The Sword Saint is clearly furious, and the reason becomes obvious. From his perspective, Kim looks extremely suspicious. Kim appeared out of nowhere, cleared an impossible floor despite being low rank, instantly gained the backing of all major guilds, and is now being treated as their equal. To someone like the Sword Saint, who hates politics and believes strength should come only from personal effort, Kim looks like a manufactured hero, possibly a hidden assassin raised by the guilds. The Sword Saint believes the massive death count connected to Kim proves he was used as a tool to quietly eliminate people for the guilds. This belief enrages him because it goes against everything he stands for. He openly accuses the major guilds of being corrupt and claims they rot the tower from within. The guild leaders explode in anger, blaming the Sword Saint for refusing to cooperate in the past and letting countless hunters die because of his pride. The situation almost turns into an all-out fight between the strongest hunters in the tower. Kim steps in and stops them, pointing out how absurd it is that hunters are fighting each other while NPCs were able to unite to protect their world. He reminds them that their real job is clearing floors, not settling grudges. The Paladin intervenes and offers a solution by revealing her skill, Lie Detector, which allows her to tell whether someone is lying. She proposes that the Sword Saint directly question Kim while she verifies the truth. Both sides agree. The Sword Saint immediately accuses Kim of killing thousands of people. Kim admits it, but the Paladin declares he is lying. One by one, Kim answers honestly. He did not kill thousands. He was not trained as an assassin. He has only killed one person, someone who tried to kill him first and had committed horrific crimes. Every statement is confirmed as true. The Sword Saint realizes his assumptions were completely wrong. The evidence he trusted was misleading, and the man he tried to kill is not the monster he imagined. The tension collapses as the truth becomes undeniable, leaving the Sword Saint forced to confront his mistake and the misunderstanding he created. The The Sword Saint stands silent after being exposed by the Paladin's lie detector skill. He had accused Kim of killing thousands of people, but every claim he made was proven false. For the first time, the Sword Saint realizes that he may have judged someone too quickly. Instead of making excuses or blaming his skill, he chooses to admit his mistake. He sheathes his sword and sincerely apologizes to Kim, admitting that he had decided who deserved to die far too easily in the past. He bows deeply and asks for forgiveness, saying he still wants to live and reach the top of the tower. The Sword Emperor, watching silently, does not interfere and leaves the choice to Kim. Kim decides not to demand revenge or compensation. Instead, he asks the Sword Saint to teach him swordsmanship and become his sparring partner. Kim explains that forgiving him freely would feel awkward, so this request allows both of them to save face. The Paladin confirms that Kim is telling the truth and that his intentions are sincere. The Sword Saint is deeply moved and gladly accepts, promising to train with Kim whenever he asks. His attitude shifts completely, becoming overly friendly and treating Kim like family, even offering money and introducing his granddaughter. Kim feels embarrassed, but accepts the outcome. The conflict ends without bloodshed, and the Sword Saint officially becomes Kim's sparring partner, marking the beginning of their true alliance. After the tension settles, Kim receives his reward window for clearing the 11th floor. He is given a shocking choice. One option is the Goddess's Reward, which grants him a powerful political role in the Empire and strong support. The other option is the Demon King's Reward, which offers something terrifyingly tempting: instant teleportation to the 99th floor if he eliminates the other top champions. Kim and the Sword Emperor immediately realize this offer is dangerous. The Sword Emperor strongly warns Kim that this is a trap and says that even he failed on the 99th floor. He refuses to explain what awaits there, but makes it clear that rushing ahead would lead to disaster. Kim struggles with temptation because skipping decades of progress is incredibly appealing, but he remembers the Flame Emperor, who took reckless shortcuts and failed. After careful thought, Kim chooses the safest option possible. He gives up both rewards entirely. He announces his decision in front of everyone, shocking the other hunters. The system confirms that by doing this, Kim loses access to special roles on the 12th floor. The Sword Saint respects Kim's caution, but still worries he is being too careful. One by one, the other top champions choose the Goddess's Reward and take important roles in the Empire. The Black Witch strongly warns everyone not to choose the Demon King's Reward, believing it will disappear if no one accepts it. However, once all choices are finalized, the system announces something horrifying. One person gave up their reward, 8 people chose the Goddess's Reward, and 1 person chose the Demon King's Reward. This means a traitor exists among them. Panic spreads instantly. The Black Witch becomes furious and threatens the traitor with death. The Paladin uses her lie detector skill to question everyone one by one. Kim is proven innocent. Then the Sword Saint, the Inquisitor, the Viper, the Countess, and finally the Black Witch herself are all confirmed to be telling the truth. No one is lying. Yet the system clearly says someone chose the Demon King's Reward. The Paladin tries to calm everyone down and says that maybe someone has a strange ability or special condition that hides the truth. But people stop trusting each other very quickly. The Sword Saint starts doubting the 5 guild leaders and says they might be covering for one another. The tension keeps rising, and no one knows who to believe anymore. Then the Inquisitor makes a terrible choice. Instead of waiting and thinking, he decides to remove the weakest top champions first to quickly find the traitor. One by one, 3 champions are taken out, and the system announces that none of them were the traitor. This only proves that the plan was wrong and makes the situation much worse. Anger explodes, fighting breaks out, and the room turns into chaos. The Paladin tries desperately to stop it, while others struggle just to stay alive. At that moment, the Inquisitor suddenly says that Kim Gong-ja should take control. Since Kim clearly gave up all rewards, he cannot be the traitor. Kim realizes that this is exactly what the tower wanted. It was trying to turn everyone against each other. Kim steps forward and stops the Sword Saint by talking to him calmly instead of using force. Once the fighting pauses, Kim explains the real answer. Looking for the traitor is a trap. The real goal is to defeat the Demon King. The Demon King's core is on the 20th floor, and once it is destroyed, the traitor's reward means nothing. Kim tells everyone that fear and suspicion will only ruin them, and the only way forward is to stay together and keep climbing. The divine voices react again, showing that Kim understood the system's trick. With everyone finally focused again, the 12th floor quest begins. After the 12th floor quest officially begins, the atmosphere inside the Imperial Palace suddenly changes. Rain starts falling outside the windows, but this is not normal rain. The drops are red, and the moment the NPCs see it, they completely lose their composure. Soldiers, officials, and civil servants all react with fear. They cover their ears, fall to the ground, and begin panicking. For them, this red rain is a symbol of disaster. It represents the Demon King's arrival, something they have feared for generations. Their reactions show that this is not just a visual effect, but something that deeply affects their minds. On Kim's map, enemy markers begin appearing in massive numbers, far more than before. It becomes clear that a huge force is approaching the capital. A system message then appears and explains the mission. The goal is to defend the Imperial capital. The difficulty is extremely high, but the tower also mentions that the Demon King is slightly weakened because it appeared from far away. Even so, the scale of the threat feels overwhelming. Some hunters openly question whether the mission is even possible. Kim steps forward and calms everyone down. He reminds them that the tower never gives an impossible task. Then he points out the most important mistake everyone is making. The hunters are not alone. They now hold official positions in the Empire, and those positions come with responsibility. This is not a mission hunters can clear by themselves. They must work together with the NPCs. Kim begins assigning roles clearly and logically. He tells Viper to act as the Imperial Guard captain and lead the guards. He tells the Sword Saint that as the Imperial Knight commander, he must cooperate, not fight allies. He reminds everyone that personal feelings do not matter right now. This is a war for survival, and they must act like leaders. Next, Kim asks the Paladin, who is now the Foreign Minister, to locate the Emperor. Without the Emperor, the NPCs will not move or obey orders. Then, he orders the Inquisitor, who is the Grand General, to go to the city walls and rally the soldiers. Even though Kim does not trust him, he understands that this is not the time for judgment. What matters is using every resource available. After giving instructions, Kim leaves the palace to act first. Meanwhile, more hunters from the 11th floor arrive in the capital, completely confused. They do not understand the situation, the rain, or the urgency. Kim decides not to waste time explaining everything to them. His priority is stopping the immediate threat using the NPC army. As Kim heads toward the city walls, the Black Dragon Master appears beside him. She reveals that her skill allows her to move instantly to places she can see. She explains that the soldiers need Kim, not her. Kim carries the holy sword that inspires the NPCs. Without him, morale will collapse. She asks for Kim's permission to use her skill on him, explaining that it requires consent. Kim agrees, and in an instant, they arrive on top of the city walls. What they see is discouraging. The soldiers are frozen in fear, praying, shaking, and unable to move. Even though they are NPCs, their fear feels completely real. Before Kim can act, the Black Dragon Master steps forward. As the Empire's Prime Minister, she speaks directly to the soldiers. Her words are powerful and emotional. She tells them that walls and stone will not protect the Empire. The real defense is the people themselves. She reminds them that as long as they stand together, the Empire still exists. Her words slowly reach the soldiers' hearts. They begin to lift their heads. They recognize her authority and sincerity. Then Kim raises the holy sword high. The sword shines brightly even through the red rain. The soldiers recognize it instantly as the legendary weapon of their founding emperor. At that moment, something changes. Hope returns. The system announces that the goddess acknowledges Kim's choice and gathers her remaining power. Light begins to spread, signaling that the true battle for the 12th floor has officially begun. Not through betrayal or fear, but through unity and leadership. When Kim let the NPC General Sarbis Agam end his life on the 11th floor, Kim was able to see Sarbis's memories because Kim's return ability doesn't only rewind time, but also briefly connects his mind to the person who ends his life, allowing him to experience their deepest fears and past trauma, which is why Kim witnessed Sarbis's memory of the Demon King and the Red Rain destroying the world. Red Rain fell wherever the Demon King went, and every place touched by that rain collapsed one after another. Small countries fell first, then bigger ones, until almost the entire world was gone. Humans kept running, praying, and begging the goddess, but the rain never stopped. In the end, only one empire was left standing, and that was when people finally gave a name to the being causing all of this destruction. They called it the Demon King, the source of fear and nightmares. The story then returns to the present. Red rain is falling again over the imperial capital, but something new happens. When Kim raises the holy sword, its light cuts through the red clouds. Wherever the light reaches, the rain stops for a moment. This small break is enough to shock the soldiers. They realize the goddess has not completely abandoned them. Even though the rain still falls everywhere else, this small safe area gives people hope. For an empire that is already on the brink of collapse, even a little hope is powerful. We learned that this empire was already broken before the battle began. Its leaders had given up, the army had lost its will, and everyone had accepted defeat. That's why the tower chose this place as a stage, just like how abandoned children were used on the 10th floor. The empire represents people who have already stopped believing they can survive. This is where the Black Witch steps forward. She gives a strong speech, shouting at the soldiers to stand up and become the empire's final wall. One by one, soldiers help each other up, pick up their weapons, and return to their positions. Her words spread across the walls, and the army slowly regains order. Even though she acts cold most of the time, this moment shows her true strength as a leader. Her speech doesn't magically fix everything, but it gives the soldiers the courage to keep going. After that, Kim and the Black Witch talk about what to do next. Kim realizes that holding the walls forever is impossible. The Demon King is too strong. If they wait, the city will fall. So Kim decides on a risky plan. He asks the Black Witch to teleport him directly to the Demon King, so he can face it alone. She understands what that means. Kim is a low-rank hunter compared to the Demon King, and this plan almost guarantees death. But Kim says he isn't planning to lose. Even if he falls, death has never stopped him before. Before they can act, the Demon King makes a move. From far away, it swings its sword, and a massive attack tears through the city gates, the streets behind them, and even part of the palace. The damage is overwhelming. One of the top hunters dies in that attack, and it becomes clear that the Demon King is far stronger than expected, even in a weakened state. The city is now breached, and the monster army begins moving straight toward the opening. Kim and the Black Witch teleport to the breach to stop the advance. The monster army is approaching fast, and they only have a short amount of time before it reaches the city. At this moment, Kim understands something important. He doesn't need to defeat the army right now. He just needs to stand there alone and stop them for a few seconds. If people see one person standing firm, it can change everything. The Sword Emperor speaks to Kim and tells him what truly makes a hero. A hero isn't someone who survives forever. A hero is someone who gives everything they have in the moment people need them most, even if it's only for a short time. Kim drops his bag, drinks a powerful elixir, and prepares himself. The Sword Emperor begins guiding him step by step, teaching him how to stand, how to focus, how to move his sword, and how to use the light of the holy blade to take away the enemy's vision. Kim stands alone at the front, facing the incoming monsters. His heart is racing, but his mind is clear. With the Sword Emperor beside him, guiding every movement, Kim raises his sword. This is the moment where he truly steps into the role of a hero. Not because he is strong, but because he chooses to stand when everyone else cannot. Kim finally steps onto the battlefield alone and truly becomes a fighter, guided every second by the Sword Emperor's voice in his head. who teaches him how to use each moment wisely instead of swinging blindly. Kim starts cutting down monsters one by one, not by rushing, but by linking each move smoothly, learning that sword fighting is about controlling time itself, even a single second, and making it count. As more monsters keep coming, Kim realizes that he feels truly alive only when he is fully focused on his sword, not thinking about fear or death, just moving forward. Even when he gets hurt, he doesn't stop, because the Sword Emperor reminds him that a real swordsman lives through his blade, not by running away. When a huge monster appears and shakes the battlefield, Kim doesn't panic. He uses the Holy Sword's light to blind it for a moment, creates an opening, and defeats it through timing and calm thinking rather than raw power. This moment proves that Kim is different from the Flame Emperor, because instead of climbing by sacrificing others, Kim chooses to stand alone and protect everyone for even a short time. After holding the line for about 30 seconds, the monsters hesitate, the soldiers regain hope, and Kim's strength increases as the system recognizes his growth. At that moment, the Sword Saint himself enters the battlefield, easily clearing enemies, then stops to acknowledge Kim, introducing himself properly, which is important, because unlike before, when Kim only heard names right before dying this time, Kim gets to introduce himself back, showing that he is no longer just someone who dies and resets, but someone who is now standing, recognized, and moving forward as a true hero. The battle finally turns into a true united fight instead of chaos, because Kim's 30 seconds of holding the front line gives everyone time to arrive and stand together. First, the Sword Saint joins Kim side by side, showing respect and choosing to fight with him instead of alone. Then, the Inquisitor arrives with the Empire's soldiers and even ordinary citizens who have no armor but still step forward, proving that people are choosing to fight for their home instead of running away. Kim realizes he is no longer alone on his left and right are refugees, farmers, hunters, and soldiers, all moving forward together like a rising wave. And even though he can't clearly hear their voices, he understands that everyone is pushing ahead with the same will. The Viper from the OJP sect joins in, promises to protect Kim's side, and repays the debt of being saved earlier, while the Paladin returns with bad news that the Emperor is already dead, meaning there's no leader left. But by now, it doesn't matter, because the people themselves have become the army. The Demon King tries to break their spirit again, mocking humans for relying on time and fading divine power, and then fires another devastating attack. But this time the Black Witch uses her mirrors to scatter it, allowing the Sword Saint and others to cut through it together. Seeing this opening, the high rankers gather and prepare to teleport Kim straight to the Demon King, even forming an awkward but determined group, showing how different they are now compared to earlier when they almost killed each other. Kim realizes that all of this teamwork, growth, and trust will disappear once he dies and resets time, and everyone will forget what happened, but he accepts that, because what matters is that he himself has grown stronger and learned the truth, knowing that he must die on purpose to copy the Demon King's power. Kim charges alone before anyone can stop him, ignores teamwork at the final moment, and faces the Demon King directly, fully aware that this death is intentional. As the Demon King strikes him down, Kim's plan succeeds, because his death activates his ability to copy the Demon King's skills, marking the end of this attempt and the beginning of the next round. Kim isn't chasing victory in one life anymore, but steadily building the strength, knowledge, and resolve needed to eventually reach the very top of the tower.